Good morning. I'm Gregory Mason, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church for Olympia Brown Unitarian Universalist Church service. Before we start, some announcements. Our Social Justice Committee is co-sponsoring an event. On September 5th and 6th, the Veterans for Peace will dock their sailboat, the Golden Rule, at the Reef Point Marina and will be met by an Indigenous color guard, Mayor Mason, and the Racine community. There will be programs and an opportunity to join a meal at Infusino's. For further information, contact Shirley Reynolds. Just a heads up for our service on September 10th, it'll be our water communion service, so if you have some special water, don't forget it that day. Fall camp is September 29th to October 1st at Camp Edwards in East Troy, Wisconsin. All reservations for overnights have been filled. If you would like to attend on Saturday only, the cost is $40, which includes meals and activities. Contact Leanne for more info or a registration form. Teachers, please see Friday's email regarding free items you may be able to use in your classrooms. I would like to thank our volunteers today that are helping with our service. Thank you to Brana Woolman, Sandy Berezowitz, who are doing double duty today, working in coffee hour, and our ushers. And Rachel Trobaugh is helping with the cleanup. And our Zoom techs, Anita Miller and Shirley Reynolds. I am looking for volunteers for next Sunday, so please contact me. Following our service here, join us for a blessing of our banned book Little Library outside of our church across the street. For more information and details about these announcements, along with others and community announcements, please see your weekly emails. Please join us for coffee hour in Erman Hall following the service and after the Little Library blessing. For those joining us on YouTube, please log in to Zoom after the service for Joys and Concerns along with coffee hour. The link is in today's email.
Good morning. Welcome to Olympia Brown Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Danielle Lindstrom. My pronouns are she, hers. My tiny helper is my son Harvey, and it is good to be together. Let's start with one big, deep, shared breath. Welcome, friends, new friends and old friends, our youngest friends, our online friends. Welcome. I share these words from our congregation in Boulder. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. No matter how long you are away or how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Please do not leave your joys, sorrows, pieces of your identity at the door. You are invited to bring it all in here with you, for this is one of the promises of our faith. All of who you are is welcome in our co-created and shared sacred space. Welcome. It is good to be together. We will begin our service with shared ritual, lighting our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Cody will be lighting our chalice for us this morning. These words by Reverend Manish Mizra Marzetti. The universe sings no less because time and space wear us thin. The music calls us to recognize our limitations, to recognize that our song is best sung with others. I invite you to rise in body and spirit, to join in singing our first hymn, hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
And now it's time for the message for all ages. So if all the children and those young in heart can come on forward.
And bring your special bags. Right? So how many of us brought, yes, a lunchbox perhaps? How many of us brought bags to bring our stuff in? Do we have some? Yes, if you did, bring them up. Or you can hold them on your lap if you are more comfortable. Right, maybe you brought a diaper bag, a lunch pail, maybe it's your work bag, it's a purse, right? Maybe you didn't bring anything, but that's okay, because we're going to have something for you to take back with you. All right, so we've got our bags,
So
All right.
I bet every single one of you has something really special inside of your bag, some really cool stuff. And I'd love to see it, but we can't do that now because it would take forever. But if you want to show me some of your stuff after the service, I'd love to see what you carry inside your bag. So this morning, I brought my bag. This bag is my bag from Maine that I keep on the back of my wheelchair. And I have some stuff in here that I use every day, or I'm going to use today more than every day. So one of the things that I have in my bag is I have the DVD of Bluey. And I have my 3 favorite color markers in my bag. And my glasses, of course. And I have a whole bag of colored paper. Well, we're going to use it today, so. And then I have, this is my notebook that whenever I go to meetings, I have this notebook, and I write stuff inside of it. What do you have in your bag, Danielle?
Let's see. So I have my Racine Library All Are Welcome Pride bag, my personal favorite. Let's see. What do I have in here? Oh, of course. Hymn book, of course. We got a hymn book, we got a notebook, and there was a pen. Oops. All right, we got my cell phone. What else could be in here? A chalice. Can't go anywhere without a chalice, right? Let's see. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of stuff in this bag. A candle, of course.
A lit candle.
We have Olympia Brown, right? For inspiration, she goes everywhere with me. My keys. I found my pen. I think that's everything. So these are the tools that I have in my bag. But really, that's all. These are tools that help me do my job. But there's something else in here too.
What? What's in there?
Oh gosh, let's see. What could it be? Respect for other people. Ooh, what else? What else? Kindness and compassion. Wow, I'm gonna just throw them like that. Understanding, acceptance, and encouragement. Wow.
So you need all these to do your work, don't you?
All of these. Curiosity. Ooh, that one feels really important to us as Unitarian Universalists, right? Curiosity and a passion for learning. Thank you so much, Sage. Listening to other people. Working for justice. Oh, this one might be my favorite. The feeling of being connected to everything around me. That's really important to remember and to feel, isn't it? Whoop. All right. Maybe this one's my favorite. Being part of a loving community where everyone is welcome.
Now I recognize those. Those are actually our principles in action, aren't they?
They are. There are principles in action, and they're not something that we can actually take with us in a backpack, are they? They're ideas that are important. Right, as long as Leanne prints them for us, we can put them in our backpack. But in spirit, right, these are things that we carry with us everywhere we go. These are some of the gifts, the opportunities, the blessings of being a Unitarian Universalist.
So, as all of you pack your backpack or your diaper bags or any kind of thing that you carry with you, your lunch box, your gym bag, your dance bag, anything that you carry with you, you have tools in there that you need to do your daily work, right? But think about the blessings that you bring from this church community. The blessings that aren't actual things you can put in your bag, but you actually carry them with you every single day. And so, to remind you of that, we're going to have all my helpers here, if they want to, are going to give you a blessing tag to remind you that you have blessings that come from this church community, from being a Unitarian Universalist, that you carry it with you every single day. So I'm going to have my helpers here walk around and give everybody can be a helper, because you can go get stuff out of the baskets out of these baskets, and you can hand out tags to all the people that are sitting out here so that they can remember that not only do they pack things in their backpack, but that you carry things with you every single day from this community. The things that you have that are like the blessings of respect, kindness, that's what these tags stand for. Kindness, encouragement, curiosity, listening, justice, interconnectedness with every living thing, and an inclusive community that we're all part of, where everybody belongs in our community.
So may you see these tags on your bag, on your keychain, on something that you carry with you, and may they remind you that you have a community who loves you, who cares about you, and is here for you throughout the week. May they serve as that reminder.
Did Cynthia?
May all of this and more be true. Yes, do you have one? Beautiful.
And if you didn't get one, you could raise your hand because we've still got them being passed out. Here we got people with hands up.
So may we all know and remember and feel this community with us throughout our days.
So now it's time for the children's blessing. So everybody stand up, or the children stand up anyway. And you can look at Abby if you can't see me. You can look at Abby for the signs if you can't see me. So here we go. We are blessed. We are blessed by being. We are blessed by being here. We are blessed by being here together.
You'll join in singing our children's dedication. The words are in your order of service. We hold you in as you go to nurture the spark of your precious light. As you go. There are so many ways we give to the life of this church, to this community, and the monetary offering is just one of these ways. Each month we partner with a local organization that is doing really good, really important work in our community and share the money that we gather. Our partner for August, this is our last Sunday with our August partner, is Focus on Community. Focus on Community is dedicated to improving the lives of youth and families throughout Racine County. They spend time both in and out of school with youth between 5th and 12th grade, teaching valuable life skills like goal setting, communication, and leadership. Any funds contributed to Focus on Community will serve the youth, which they name and we know are the core of our community. Thank you for your continued generosity. Part of being in community is sharing our lives with one another. During worship, we set aside special time for holding each other in love and in this space, and I invite you to participate in this sharing in a way that is most comfortable for you. If you would like to come forward and light a candle for whatever it is that is on your heart, I invite you to come forward and light a candle. If you would like to share your joy or sorrow out loud, I invite you to come to the pulpit or raise your hand and we can bring a microphone to you, remembering that we are streaming this to YouTube. And we ask that this is not a space for announcements. This is this time to hold what is sacred on our hearts. Or if you would like to sit in shared quiet, listening to the breaths, listening to the joys and sorrows around you, to the coughs and the rustling in the pews, make time and space for your own silent meditation. To pray or to dream, you are invited to just be. If you will join me in these words of prayer and meditation from Carrie Gottfried. Love loudly, Spirit of light, of love, of all that is good and bad and in between. Give us the courage and inspiration to love loudly, to share our joy and compassion with others, to let them know how much we appreciate them. We all give and we all receive love. I invite you forward to light a candle for your joy or sorrow, to share your joy or sorrow out loud, or to just take a moment to be present with one another.
Ruth Bradford Johnson. Light a candle in grateful and loving memory of my dear friend Jim Piota, who died this week. Jim and I worked for many years in special education, where he devoted his life to teachers and students with developmental disabilities. We were a whole group of women and Jim working together. He never once mansplained to us, but we womansplained to him many times, and he accepted it. Love you, Jim.
Good morning, I'm Colleen Wilkinson. It's nice to be back. Most of you know and follow me on Facebook or whatnot. I've been in nursing school. I have not been in this church for many months now, but I'm happy to say I'm halfway through the program. I'll have my ADN, hopefully, in about May of next year. So I probably won't be here next week, and I'll probably disappear until December again. So it's nice to see you all.
Good morning, Mark Summer. Yeah, school's starting, teachers go back, well, pretty much all staff members go back tomorrow. So I'd like just to have like a blessing or a thought of energy to be sent out to all the educators out there, all the staff members, including all the kids as well, getting ready to go back to school. And I also like to say something, my parents are getting a little bit older, so they're having a lot of like little, seems like minor health things, but I'm just gonna send out a prayer of healing energy to them, that they get better.
We light a candle for our beloveds that are joining us online, and we light a candle for all of the joys and all of the sorrows that remain on our hearts, in the hearts of our beloveds in this space. Their prayer continues, we all give and receive love, but loving loudly is one of the greatest gifts of all, and it is so simple. All it requires is one person who is willing to say to anyone and everyone, you are loved. You are worthy of love. You deserve to be loved. Spirit of life, help us spread love throughout our communities. Help us teach others to love loudly so that when it begins to circle around, we can hear it too. Amen and blessed be. Will you join me in singing, There is a love holding me, there is a love holding us. The words are in the order of service. Our reading this morning, there are many different variations, often called the parable of the Chinese farmer. The one that we are sharing this morning is maybe yes, maybe no. There's the story of a farmer whose only horse ran away. That evening, the neighbors gathered to commiserate with him, since this was such bad luck. Your farm will suffer and you cannot plow. They said, surely this is a terrible thing to have happened to you. He said, maybe yes, maybe no. The next day the horse returned, but brought with it 6 wild horses. And the neighbors came to congratulate him and exclaim at his good fortune, you are richer than you were before. Surely this has turned out to be a good thing for you after all. He said, maybe yes, maybe no. The following day, I laugh because we have folks mouthing along. We know this one, don't we? I wondered if it might feel familiar. And then the following day, his son tried to saddle and ride one of the wild horses. He was thrown and broke his leg and couldn't work on the farm. Again, the neighbors came to offer sympathy for the incident. There is more work than only you can handle, right? And you may be driven poor, they said. Surely this is a terrible misfortune. The old farmer said, maybe yes, maybe no. The day after that, the conscription officers came to the village to seize young men for the army. But because of his broken leg, the farmer's son was rejected. The neighbors came again and said, how fortunate! How fortunate! Things have worked out after all. Most young men never return from war. Surely this is the best of fortunes for you. And the old man said, maybe yes, maybe no. So ends our reading. So, it's been a whole week since we gathered here, and we are still in the goo phase. I can't let it go. The goo phase from last week. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, last week I invited us to consider the process of undoing. Right? That like the caterpillar who becomes undone, turns to goo in the cocoon, to rebuild with only the imaginal discs, which are the pieces of information on how to rebuild. The imaginal discs surviving the process of going from caterpillar into butterfly. What I didn't mention is how lucky I think this process is. Their life cycles, caterpillars to cocoon, to butterfly, to laying eggs, to death, to hatching, to caterpillar, to cocoon, to butterfly, it's chronological. The caterpillar has the privilege of moving from one phase to the next. It cannot decide, once it's a butterfly, that it's actually really hard to fly, too hard, in fact, and then return to being a caterpillar. We don't necessarily get to see growth that way, right? We see ourselves change as we age, but the growth we are referring to is that spiritual growth, it's emotional growth, and that doesn't happen chronologically. As novelist Anais Nin wrote, and we shared this a few weeks ago, we do not grow absolutely or chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We mature in one realm, childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and pull us backward, forward, or fix us in the present. There is permission in this idea to not be so hard on ourselves if we felt growth in one area but might feel as though we are reverting back in another. Permission for ourselves and each other that sometimes we will live in the past, and sometimes we will live too far into an unknown future. And there's a challenge, an awareness, an invitation to that awareness. Where are we? Why and what do we need? And if we're honest, this is really hard. This is really hard. I still believe that if we get things organized in just the right way, right? We can do everything that needs to be done, so then we can move on to whatever is next. It's all about organization. My teachers are laughing. So I have an example of this. I wrote the title for this service back in July, Piles of String. I wrote the title for last week's service, Untying Expectations, back in July. I had only a very faint idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I knew that Kayla was going to talk about expectations, right? About expecting others to do less for us and to focus on community care. So, based on the little information I had, I thought that Kayla would invite us to unknot all of our expectations. We would spend some time unknotting, and then the following Sunday, which is today, we would be ready to imagine, we could create with all of these newly unwound, unknotted expectations. We would be really ready. We'd done the work. We were ready for creation. Is that how it works? It's really not, right? Somehow, the smallest knots are the strongest and cannot be undone without a pair of scissors or undone in a week of consideration. Some knots are large and involve so many strings we don't know where one begins and another one ends, and this is assuming knots are a bad thing, Without knots, the blessings we just shared would fall off our bags. So now you know why I don't often share sermon titles. I'm not only bad at them, but I get myself in these situations committed to an idea that once we start to really dig into it, it just doesn't work. What happened last week instead, Kayla invited us into a new way of being together, paying attention to the voices around us, to our children and our youth, and making sure we feed them. In her reflection was an invitation to loosen the knots of expectation, of how we expect people to be in their bodies during worship, and with hope to live into that broader understanding of welcome. It was an invitation to begin. So rather than thinking we can completely undo to form something new, we are invited to be creative, to imagine what's possible if we give ourselves and one another a little slack, a little space. We pull hard on one side of the knot so the other has a chance to untangle. And this too is hard work. The farmer in the story, there is a lot of wisdom that can be drawn from that story, a lot of different ideas and values. The piece that I would like to lift up is to remember, and I struggle with this, so we can do it together, is to remember that rarely are things all good or all bad, all the best or all the worst. Most often our experiences fall on a continuum. And if we look for that continuum, we may see more, learn more about that experience than if we had rested on the idea that something is all good or all bad. We have been talking about General Assembly the last couple Sundays, and this is kind of wrapping up our conversation as we move into a new month. But I wanted to share some information from a workshop called Disrupting Church. So they named some really hard truths about where our congregations are in this moment. 50 years ago, there were 100,000 more Unitarian Universalists. 10 years ago, there were 52,000 children and youth in RE. Now there are 34,000. Twice as many people in our congregations are over 65 than in the general population. This is nothing we've done, church. These are these larger trends that we're seeing, right? Our congregations are wrestling with declining membership and budget deficits, hard decisions about buildings and staffing, the future of our faith tradition, whether our faith can meet the spiritual needs, the work for justice that has to be done in 2023. And it sounds really scary, right? It sounds, and has the potential to be chaotic, especially if we start reacting, right? If we start offering every program imaginable to see what works, right? We just throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. Or if we start cutting staff before we understand the implications of those positions, right? If we try and redo, if we try to become undone all at once to build something new, we may start to feel that chaos. And this is everywhere. It's not just here. In the book Dancing with Darkness, Spiritual Lessons for Thriving in Turbulent Times, author Otis Moss III invites readers to consecrate your chaos, to pause, to discover possibility. He begins the chapter with a story of his children. He hears them playing with the dog in the basement, laughing, they're having a great time. He decides to walk downstairs to join in all the fun, only to see the dog is covered in paint. Paint is everywhere, handprints on the walls. Now, he shares that true, this was not a profound crisis, but not something you want to deal with on a Saturday morning. He then offers this advice: when you have kids in your home, you need to find some way to get accustomed to chaos because you're going to get plenty of it. This morning, as he's walking down the stairs, he sees his whole basement covered in paint. Rather than go directly to anger, he's able to take a breath, get himself out of that irritation, and that's when he sees it. Quote, "For a moment, I saw what they saw. Not just a chaotic, rule-breaking mess on walls, which it was, but also a picture. Michaela, Elijah, Mommy, the dog, and me. The children had painted a mural, a family portrait full of their exuberant love. It was even signed, not just by Elijah and Michaela, but with the paw prints of Mateo." He writes, "My heart melted. There was still a mess to clean up. Thanks to love, though, I saw something more. Maybe yes, maybe no. A continuum of expectation and experience. Yes, this is a mess, and yes, it was complete chaos, and in that mess and chaos is that love and joy and celebration." And it was the breath in the story, the moment to pause, to discover the possibility that if we can take that breath, then maybe give ourselves that space. Maybe we can see what's underneath, or at least alongside the chaos. And then he offers this challenge. The question is whether there might be some way to use the harsh, unpredictable winds and relentless currents of our lives to get us moving to where we actually want to go. Do we have the spiritual audacity and the practical means to turn chaotic energy to our own purposes, into creation itself? As shared at General Assembly, our denomination is feeling the chaos. It was interesting because in that workshop, we're hearing these facts, and one would expect the energy to be upset and frustrated and angry, and instead, it was a moment of relief. You mean I'm not the only one? We're not the only one? Rather than that overwhelming chaos, we are called to conversations that reimagine what we can be. That yes, we are in complicated times, we are in challenging times, and maybe, just maybe, this faith was built, imagined for moments just like this, with flexibility, courage, honesty, and transformation. Maybe yes, maybe no. We are in the beginning of our 2023-2024 church year. At our annual meeting in June, the board shared the recommendation to stay here at First Presbyterian for this year to talk about our future, to talk about our mission, and what physical space our church needs here in Racine. We are in a moment of chaos, though I feel we have weathered the strongest turbulence of that chaos. We are settling in. We have somewhere to be while we have this very important conversation about what's possible, right? And we are still in this time of concern and fear and discomfort and curiosity and wondering and uncertainty. But do we have the spiritual audacity and practical means to turn chaotic energy into its own purposes? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we are called into a time of maybe, of undoing so much of what we have known, but with our imaginal discs, the part of the caterpillar that knows how to turn into a butterfly, right? We have our history, our roots, our hard-earned lessons, our shared experience to support the transition, the transformation that is taking place. So do we have the spiritual audacity and practical means to turn chaotic energy into our own purposes? Maybe yes, maybe no. One thing I do know, we will be doing this together. Amen and blessed be. Will you join me in song? I invite you to rise in body and spirit. Join in singing hymn 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. I would like to close with a reading. If you are on the executive board, this will be your third time hearing this. If you are on the board, it will be your second time hearing this, because it feels very important to me. It feels important in going into this year together, so we may all hear it a few more times. Maybes by Holly Mueller. Maybes are not comforting. They are not neat. They are sand spilled into an oyster, rainstorms that were not forecast. We are not made for maybes. We are of the physical world, of the ground so sure beneath us, the breeze rustling our clothes, the binary nature of day and night. But the maybes were not made for us either. And so we wrestle with them, often late into the night, hoping we can beat them into submission with the right plan and backup plan and flow chart. We try and fit them into backpacks with an umbrella and a map so we won't have to let go of our route or our agenda or our traveling companion. The maybes get out in the murky in-between of dusk, in the obscured view beyond the next hill, raising doubt that we've picked the right direction. It's okay. Let them out, the maybes and the in-betweens and the almosts. Let them walk with you. Befriend them if you can. And if you can't, that's okay too. They will slip rocks into your shoes. They will rip up your map. But you'll learn to read the stars and trust your feet if you let them be your guide. You'll learn to read the stars. We extinguish our chalice. But not the light of this community. That light cannot be extinguished. It lives in each of us, reminding us we are connected, held always in a larger love. Our worship is over. Our service begins. Please join us as we bless our little free band book library following the service. May you go forth knowing love. May you share that love with all you meet until we return again.